In this video I'm going to have a quick look at another clock radio, and I just grabbed this one. It was only $6, so I thought pretty good for a fluorescent display one. And it's a Copal, so another Copal digital clock. It's just interesting to see that they did transition to the digital era. I think the brand largely disappeared after that. Made in Hong Kong, so it's not even Japanese, so maybe they just used the brand name. It's a model RD316. I think I already looked at one Copal one, but I think it was different to this. Hopefully it's got the little Made in Hong Kong sticker, something I grew up with in the 80s. They were stuck on everything, either made in Taiwan or made in Hong Kong. I think Taiwan came a bit later, but everything was made in Hong Kong for a while. It's got a battery cover, but whether you can fit one under there, given the labels are on it, probably not. And yeah, what do we got here? Some big black auto dimming, so someone's covered that up. Looks like the lens has gone missing off it, or maybe it's just been pushed in. There's an LDR there I can see just below, so someone did not like the auto dimming, but we'll get rid of that. Probably gonna have a scratchy pot in this thing. That's our tuning, AM, FM, usual sort of thing. We can set the time, fast and slow, alarm, sleep, snooze, yeah, AM, FM, radio or buzz. I guess we're going to have a listen to see what it buzzes like. I think this thing's actually in working order. And I kind of like these fluorescent clocks. Oh, very nice and bright. Nice to see one that isn't sort of faded out at the moment. Oh yeah, it does dim it slightly, I think. No, maybe not. Oh yeah, it is dimming down. You've really got to cover the hole well. Weird 4 with half of it cut off, so these aren't the normal 7 segments. They got the little curvy bits on top and bottom. So 2 you can see lit up, comes along and then curves down. Then it's got a flat end on it rather than these middle ones which have the little pointy ends. And normally they're all pointy bits that join together. So yeah, the 7's got a weird curved top, so that's a bit different. And yeah, it really ruins the 4 a bit because it's got a short segment on one side. But I have to say it's kind of different, so at least it's interesting. Maybe that was some Hong Kong special thing. And on for radio. Oh, it actually lights up. Whether anyone can see that, but yeah, look at that light up dial. Not particularly bright, but it's got a light on it, so that's always nice. Wow, volume control actually seems pretty reasonable. Does the radio work though? Sounds a bit dodgy. Don't think it's doing much. Where's our the switch might be dicky. Now it's better. Yeah, weird. What is that doing? It seems to work. So, doesn't tune down to 87.8, I don't think.
You didn't think you would last one, didn't you? No, I don't even know who they are. Yeah, it's the ABC. They've probably moved on. They're running off this institution. They're all gone? Actually, I mean, quite seriously, every one of them is gone. Has gone, yeah. It would be good to say we've proven them wrong, but I don't think they've wrong. So this is a very different way of starting. And we had quite a lot of conversations about how exactly this
sounds rather distorted. Maybe the speaker's full of muck, as often happens. Let's see if I can actually set the thing. Don't know why it came on at that random time, but that works. Fast, slow. Let's set that to 10:06. Set the alarm. That started at midnight, I think. If we turn the radio off and we go to buzzer and we go to auto, I think if we go past the time off and that'll set them off. Oh, geez.
almost scientifically.
Sure did. What a god awful noise that was. It wasn't even a low buzzing that was annoying, it was a scream. Imagine waking up to that. It's like a fire alarm going off or something. That'd scare the crap out of you. So I can't say I recommend this for an alarm clock. I can't actually even see the speaker grill. Oh, there it is, I think. There's a lot of dust in there. But yeah, that's horrendous. They all sound awful normally, but that's probably the most vicious one I think I've ever heard. Whereas a nice bit of soothing radio is much nicer to wake up to. Doesn't scare the hell out of you. Now, do I need to take this front off? It's got screws on the front as well. Or can we? Oh yeah, there's the knobs falling off before I got to it. Oh, it's actually broken, I think, at some point. It's on an angle anyway, so that's probably not a good sign. I don't think we need to do we need to take that knob off? Let's take that knob off anyway. Here we go. And that looks very Hong Kong. It's got the old Sanyo chip in it, LM8361. A lot of them had Sanyo chips. Look at the dust that's got into that volume control. That's a proper, what do they call them, a dust bunny or something. Many years of people's pyjamas and stuff probably there. Bits of sheet and linen and God knows what. Assuming it's been used on the bedside, which when they look like that they usually have. It's got some weld symbol thing on the transformer. Pretty basic little radio, basically not much different to the inside of a little portable AM/FM radio. Little transistor one. Got an interesting symbol there, which may be the company involved in making it. Now let's see if we can get this LDR poked back. Oh, it does have a... Oh, so it is just... I thought it was one of the bigger cadmium cell type ones. But someone has actually taken a standard little one like he used to buy at Dick Smith and put a lens over it. I don't think it's going to stay in place very well. That really wants gluing in there probably. It's a bit bent, I think, so I think someone pretty viciously attacked this at some stage trying to stop it doing its thing. And let's have a quick look. Is this, it's glued the speaker, I think they normally are. And I know from experience that to get them off you've usually got to break them, bend them, and the cone stays stuck in there, and you never know, sometimes they do come out a bit, but this one's only partly glue. I think, yeah, this one we can wobble out. I think some of the glue is stretchy. Still risk you'll rip the cone off it. What is this? A conic Taiwan. So we do have something from Taiwan in here. Not far from Hong Kong. Actually cut it out like this. This isn't too badly done, thankfully. Oh my god, yeah, it's got dust in there. That'll usually make them sound a bit muffled and distorted and stuff because the cone can't move around properly. Look at that. Probably wasn't the best speaker to start with. And now it's even worse than usual. You can see down in there now. Oh, look at all the dust coming out the top of it. Lovely. Unfortunately, they're all like that usually. I'm not sure it's going to make it sound much better, but probably a little bit. These radios don't tend to be particularly good quality. And the reception here is not very good anyway, so that doesn't help either. 7944, could that be the year and week number? Possibly. This thing, if it's still fluorescent, it could well be, and it's made in Hong Kong. Definitely be around the sort of early 80s era, I would think, possibly late 70s. When they finally got rid of the old click over flip clocks. Yeah, it fits on and stays on alright, but oh no, it doesn't. Or it didn't, it just slid off then, but try a bit of methane stuff to get rid of that tape. Thankfully that was reasonable quality electrical tape, I think, so the glue hopefully will come off. But how many years that's been on there is anyone's guess. It doesn't look like it's been on the full life of the clock though. And yeah, a lot of the actual lettering's worn off. Ew, brown stuff down there. It's certainly not in mint condition, but that doesn't usually stop people charging $30 for them anyway. But at that price, I'll just buy it for my collection. If I get some of this stuff cleaned out, it'll actually clean up half decent, this one, I think. It's just got a bit of many years of dirt on it. Dirt and dust. A lot of people were scared to clean the things in case they broke it. Make that fake wood grain glow a bit better. It's not a badly done fake wood grain really. Kind of looks the part. Yeah. Front is really dirty. Unfortunately, the radio's got some dust in there. That really needs pulling apart. Yeah, there's a bit of dirt in where the display is, so I think we might have to remove this front bit as well, because that's going to annoy me otherwise, seeing that. It's one of those things that, like they say, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Really wants more scraping down in there. The ideal way is remove everything and just soak them and hose them off, scrub them off, whatever. And our LDR just dropped in again. And while I've got this loose, oops, keep forgetting to take that off. I'll do around the edges where the case joins because there's a bit of dirt around there. Which again, if you get rid of that, makes it look a heap better. And here we can do down in this little slot along the front. So much better without that dirt there. Still a bit on the edge of that aluminium. Might need a bit more work. And I assume we can just take this bit off. Yeah, most this era of electronics, boomboxes, whatever, they had that printed on aluminium sticker stuff they put on, and they always wear off with use. Ugh. Dirt and dust falling out already. There's our fluoro tube. Clean out the inside of that. Does it all go? Yeah, they have that. Always put a little ridge in there with a clear plastic on the front stuck on, and the plastic on the inside's in behind it, and that is a good little dust trap. that you really got to get your brush into, and it tends to stick to the back of the plastic if you're not careful, because they've got sticky glue stuff on there or double-sided tape. But yeah, that looks a lot better. I'll just keep trying to get this some sort of dirt around the bottom here. Little lamp on the end there for the light up dial. But yeah, I don't think I've seen as many Copal clock radios in my life as I've seen in the last year or so. I really don't remember them being a thing at all, but they're out there by the look of it. Certainly they were common, one of the most common brands on flip clocks, I think. It was a well-known brand, but cord in there. Oh, it's actually got threaded screws, so they must have put some nice little brass bits in the plastic for them to screw in, which is always nice rather than just chewing out the plastic potentially. So even Hong Kong could make do some quality touches on their stuff, or maybe this was made for Copal to their specifications. It's quite possible the Japanese just said, "Oh, make us a cheap electronic clock in Hong Kong." Because it wasn't really worth, I mean, these things, even back then, were only $30, $40, I think, which was more money than it is today, but it still wasn't an awful lot of money. So not a particularly high value product. So something suited to sort of manufacture in somewhere like Hong Kong. Still some glue on there. It's covered in some muck, that's for sure. Starting to polish up a bit better. Just got to be careful you don't take the labels off or what's left of them. The surface of this aluminium is often had a lacquer over it, I think, or some sort of coating, and that tends to deteriorate in the sun. So it's very hard to get these labels perfect. Get the little white slot on the switch, on the volume. Cleaned up a bit. There is a little bit of dirt on these switches as well. Very sort of 80s era switches, the little slide switches, but they put around the plastic they put some brushed aluminium, which made them look a lot better than the normal ones with just a square plastic shaft. And you could actually buy them at Dick Smith and places in that style, much nicer looking. I remember doing a few little electronic kits where I put some of those on and it looked so much better than the standard cheap one with a square shaft on it, or rectangular shaft, with just some little finger grips moulded in the end. I think that'll do for cleaning that up. It's a little imperfect still. I don't think we're going to get the surface of that real good. And the dimmer thing really needs sticking down. Now we've still got some, is that just from my fingers all over it? A bit of muck on there, a few scratches. And yeah, these cords definitely want a good check to make sure they're not damaged, that no pets have nibbled on them or anything, because they're only single insulated. That all looks good.
Yeah. I guess what we're saying is when something becomes as enormous, as ubiquitous,
Still pretty distorted.
then all of the virtues and vices of a culture will be projected. And I think that's...
How have you found the...
Our young people all have wonderful opportunities in the future.
Does that come down to attendance, or what's sort of some of the contributing factors?
There are a range of factors that contribute to those achievements at school. Obviously, experience of poverty and not having access to the resources that their peers have, and that can affect...
And I guess I'm going to just check the buttons still work. Which they do. Yeah, beautiful bright display on this one. Other than that weird cut off bits and pieces, I guess we should have a look at each. Where's the slow setting? So that's the 0, of course, looks fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this button doesn't actually do it. It's the slow button. It doesn't immediately do anything. 5 looks fine. 6 is a little cut off on the end, I guess. 7, 8, 9. So it's only the 4 that looks a bit dodgy. Let's go fast, I guess. We can go to 44. Guess I should have put it on 444, but yeah, they're a little odd. But at least they're different, I guess. Shows there's a few different styles of these displays out there. Nice big PM, AM indicators there. And just your basic, quite a nice little compact one, this one. But just your basic little unit. Nothing too exciting, but when I saw it cheap, I thought I'll have that. And eventually I'll get a few of these set up together, because they do look quite good at night. Quite a bit nicer than LEDs in some ways, at least the red LEDs. I was never a fan of those. I bought one with the green LEDs in it, and these are kind of the same thing. These give a sort of brighter, higher contrast type of display that can be seen a bit easier. The radio sounds pretty rubbish in this. Whether that's the old speakers had it, could be a problem in something, doubt it, but it could just be the speaker itself is still a bit dodgy. Or it might just be the way it was, and that alarm was awful. But interesting to have a look at one anyway, so thanks for watching.